have you kind of evolved, do you think, as a play caller? Some of your successes and failures?
Yeah, you don't really dwell too much on the successes, and I'm not sure there's been that many. I know this. I feel a little bit better calling a play. When you go into the first game and you've never done it before, you wonder if anything you call is going to be successful. You might be the first play caller in history to not make a first down in 12 games. So, you have those kind of thoughts, and then once, I think it's kind of like being a player, you get in there a little bit and you make a couple calls, and you have some good ones and some bad ones, and some things work and don't work, and you start to feel a little bit more comfortable in your role. But I don't know that I've done anything particularly well. I know our players have done a really nice job of turning some average things into good things. I'm fortunate. We have an excellent staff. There's such diverse background, and there's a lot of great ideas that come in there. You got a guy like Ken who's done it here and then was in the National Football League. And you just look at the job he's done with Nate Stanley. You asked a question about Nate Stanley, who's played really well. Why? One, because Nate Stanley's a good player and it matters a lot to him. Two, because Ken O'Keefe's done a tremendous job coaching him, getting him ready to play. And you look at the improvement he makes every week, I think that's a direct reflection of the job Ken's done. You look at Kelton, we have young receivers playing really well, right? Well, they're being coached extremely well and brought along and pushed forward. Cope's done a great job. LeVar's done a really, really good job, right? Special teams I can't speak to other than this. I know this. We start with the ball outside our own 30 a lot, right? And the other team doesn't. So I think our special teams, we're covering kicks, we're kicking better than we ever have. We've got fakes. I told those guys my only frustration right now with our special teams is if we could just score on one of these fakes. Boy, it's a lot easier. Instead, offense has to go out there and score. It's a lot easier if we just score on the fake, take some pressure off of us. But the job LeVar's done with our special teams, I think, is excellent. But we have two young tight ends. T.J. Hawkinson hadn't played it down here, and I think he's one of the better ones, or has a chance to be one of the better ones we've had. Noah Fant has been excellent for us. He played about 30 snaps last year. So you look at what LeVar's done, and shoot, nobody's had a harder job than Tim coming in here, and all of a sudden the whole line gets blown up, and he gets to learn from day one, what it's like when you have some injuries and things change. And he's done a tremendous job. You look at a guy like Worf step in. I mean, that's not easy to do, to start here as a true freshman as a tackle, and really had two bad plays. So I think that's a testament to the coaching that's going on there. So, like, my job's pretty easy. My life's pretty easy. But as a play caller, I just think about the bad calls. I think about calling a gimmick play down there backed up against Penn State that cost us 2 points, probably changed the complexion of the game. I think about a couple fourth down calls you wish you had back, starting with the one last week. We run the same play that we had run on 3rd and 1 a little bit earlier. They're loaded up for bear. We come back later, throw it on 3rd and 2, and hit it for 18 yards. That's all we had to do the first time. So I'm more focused on things I haven't done well. I don't think we had a good plan going into Michigan State running the football. And then unfortunately our line's got to take the brunt of the criticism. I think that starts with me. I didn't design it very well. We didn't have a good plan going in there. We didn't ask guys to do things, right, that were going to help us be successful. So whose fault's that? Well, that's mine. And I got to live with that. I know we talked before the season. I think I was pretty realistic about what the job was going to entail. I knew it was going to be hard. I knew there was going to be good moments. And there's no better moment than the one we had at Iowa State. That's as high as it gets, right? But there's no worse moment than some of the ones we had in East Lansing. That's as low as it gets. And that's how this job works. And I think it's like being a player. I mentioned to Mike, if you're a player, a coach, if you compete, if this is what you do for a living, the minute you think you have it figured out, the minute you think you're any good at anything, right, that's when somebody's sneaking up to get you, because we never have it figured out. We're never any good. And I think we're learning as a team. When we think we're good, we got a problem. If we just operate like we're not, then we have a chance to maybe win a couple football games.